The NIL stuff, I'm all for it too. Like, I think it's great that athletes are able to make a
You would have
living.
cashed in.
But also, like,
I would have been using your swipes.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
How was everybody's weekend? We celebrated someone's birthday.
Yeah.
Yay, happy birthday.
Thank you, girl. It was a fun weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
31. What? Shoot.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Welcome back to the Bet on Her podcast with Gina, Kelly, and myself, Dana. I thought I'd change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Today we have a true girl boss. I was going to say boss ass based off of the bio you sent us. Farren Benjamin. She's on the board of 3 NFL foundations, athlete foundations. She's in charge of sports partnerships and sales at Tagboard. Helped Keyshawn Johnson launch a sports agency and is one of the few female NFL agents. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're here.
Love this.
I guess I can give a little background too. Farren and I, we actually went to high school together. We live around our parents live around the block from each other.
Not just around the block. Let me specify. If I took a ripe orange from my driveway and I launched it directly across the street, it would hit some tree in her backyard. Period.
Yep, pretty much.
But it's not around the block. It is literally, we have the same address minus one number.
Yeah. But it's really sad because I'll still drive my car to your place instead of walk.
We do drive our cars both ways.
Yeah. But so we went to high school together. We went to USC together. We were roommates our senior year. So we've been friends for a long time.
That's
and
fun.
I'm so happy that you're here. And obviously, like, the biggest thing on the intro is you're a freaking NFL agent.
You knew that was coming though. You knew that was coming.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But like, I want to get to like where this all began because I know you from Los Al, and Farren was on the Fresh Soft boys football team
Whoa.
in high school. And so obviously you've had a love for football for a long time now. So I want to hear kind of where that started, how it started. And then also I want to hear a little bit about being on a boys football team too.
Yeah. We're both only child. So my dad, all the men in my family were all football players. So I think just growing up in that type of family, you kind of naturally are inclined to try it out, see what it's about, watch it. When I got to Los Al, I was kind of like, I'm going to do this. Like, cause I was always too fat to play Pop Warner. Like I did not make the weight limit. And I was like 120 at the time. I'm like, wow, what I would do to be 120 right now. But in any case, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait for freshman soft football because they won't judge me with my 120-pound body. So went out for football and it was awesome, right? Because in the summertime, I was the only one in my locker room. So every day the janitors have to open up my locker room. Let me just tell you, there were days that they did not do that. So that was not fun. But like I'm in there all summer long, like in my own locker room, got my own time, got my own shower, my own sink, like whole place to myself. So it was pretty fun. Like it was when season came around and when fall started and school got back in session, it was really cool, right? Like we would wear our jerseys to school like on game day. So usually for us it was Thursdays. And I'm the only female on the entire campus, like out of 3,200 kids. I'm the only female wearing a boys football jersey. So at least my teacher's like, oh, do you have a brother playing? Like, no, we're not going to do that. Like, no, I'm an only child. So it took a while for people to like understand, like, oh, she plays. I was not a kicker. Most people are like, oh, you're a kicker, punter. No, I was a corner. So I played defense. I played corner. I tried safety. That didn't work out. Corner worked out a little bit. But no, it was super fun. Guys were really supportive, really protective. I got knocked out during the Edison game. It was at home. Like got knocked out. Like the first time I was actually like hit. And come to find out that guy then went on to walk on at USC. I won't like throw him under the bus, but I remember seeing him at SC and I'm like,
What's his name?
I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm like, I saw him at SC and I was like, wow, so we meet again. Because like I've had to find out his name, like because I was like, you just ran across the field and just blindsided me and like knocked me into the stands, and literally ended up going to SC. And I'm like, So we meet again, my friend.
How the turntables, guys.
You needed an orange to throw at his window.
Yeah, something. But no, it was so awesome. It was like I if I could go back and do it again, I'd do it 100 times more. I would encourage my daughters to do it. Now there's so many different avenues for women to play football. I was sitting on a panel last week in Annenberg, and they were talking about the women's and football league. So a lot of the flag football leagues that Matt Leinart started in Orange County have now kind of grown throughout the country. It's becoming a CIF sport and whatnot. So now there's like so many more ways for women to get involved in football. I'm not against flag. Flag is awesome, but it's back when I was there, it was like boys football or nothing. Or be skinny for Pop Warner. So it was cool. Like I said, I think that experience kind of shaped like my whole being of like what Farren in football means.
Yeah, so how did you kind of get into your first job with working with NFL athletes? Like you said, you worked with athletes first. Can you kind of let us in on how you got your start and then kind of explain what you did with the job?
So in college, when Gina and I roomed together, we lived at like a complex. It was like Animal Farm or Animal House. Like the whole complex was athletes. So it was like volleyball, football, swim, and like track and field. So I ended up working for sports information department for, in the off seasons for track. So I was a track athlete. So my seasons weren't until the spring. So working for sports information, being able to be around the guys, being on the field, doing the PR side of things, alongside one of my great mentors, Tim Tessalone, like it was a really cool opportunity to kind of get me in the door. So when you work in that environment at a place like USC, like you are in the room with the Keyshawn Johnsons, with the Ronnie Lotts, with those big time players and alumni, because they're always going to come back to campus in one way, shape, or form. So when you work, for the football team, for sports information, you're always in those rooms. So Gina and I both went to SC during the sanction years. So my first day on the job at USC was the day that we got sanctioned, like doomsday. So back then it was very, very frowned upon. Like agents, the word agent was like not allowed on campus. Like if you said the word agent, you're like time out for like 6 years. So I was like, the way that I looked at it, I was like, I want to be a woman in football. I didn't know exactly what, but I was studying PR. I had done a minor in sports media, and I was like, okay, I want to do something in football. And I think it's on the representation side, because I originally started on the journalism side, and I wasn't willing to go in front of a camera and dig up those stories that are sometimes breaking news about athletes. I wanted to be on the other side and share the great stories about the things that don't necessarily always make the news. So I became an intern at Athletes First, and it's still to this day one of the best experiences that I've ever had. Like half that company will be invited to my wedding one day. They're fantastic, but it was really frowned upon. Like there were one or two people that knew on campus, because we were both athletes. So being an athlete and then working at an agency and then working for football, it was like a triple X. No. But I was like, what is the difference with me wanting to be an agent versus someone who wants to work in finance? You're not stopping them from going downtown to work at Merrill Lynch or JP Morgan in the summertime. Why are you stopping me from having an internship? Because this is a sensitive topic. So I said, screw it. I'm doing it. So if compliance wanted to come after me and talk open door policy, but like you can't stop me from having an internship for something that I was really passionate about. So working there it really opened the door where I was like, I think I can see myself doing this. It was an awesome experience. I got a chance to do everything from marketing pitch decks to client maintenance to helping guys, plan their travel around combine and team visits. They really kind of let their interns run. And I came back for 3 different sessions. So I was there for like a year and a half.
What did you do? Each internship, was it different, or what kind
It was kind of the same, just kind of picking up. Each season is different, right? So when you're working at an agency, during the fall months when athletes are in season, it's a lot quieter. It's more about recruiting. It's about kind of polishing up everything for the off season. Whereas when you work at an agency in the spring or the summertime, all guys, you're working with your draft class, the guys who have not got drafted yet, and you're also working with all of the clients that you represent that are coming home or coming back to LA for the off season to train. So it's chaos. It's literally chaos. So I wanted to kind of experience all those different seasons. But yeah, it's kind of like, one of them is planning for draft, another one is preparing for, recruiting. Now with everything with NIL, there's a lot more things that people are able to do in the fall around agencies and stuff, and being able to do marketing deals for college athletes while they're in season. That wasn't around when I was there. So that wasn't an option. Recruiting, I couldn't recruit. I feel I wasn't an agent. So I would just help make decks and help make PowerPoints and do some research and data and all that, and kind of help feed the agents and help them become the best agents they possibly could.
Just a quick pivot, I guess, kind of to add on, like, how do you, I guess with the NIL stuff going on, is that something that you can tap into as an agent, or is that is that something that you even want to do, or do you want to stay pro? Because I know that obviously adds a whole different dynamic into everything that's been going on college-wise. So
I can do anything NIL right now. I'm authorized to do it. I have the background to represent players in the NIL side as well. I will say this, like, NIL is so great. Like, as a former athlete, Gina and I were on totally different atmospheres. Like women's volleyball at USC is like a really, really big deal. And then you have someone like Gina, like, she's like the face of this program, right? I am a female hammer thrower. So if you took all the sports at USC and you were to rank them, like all the female sports, a women's hammer thrower is literally like here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say which one I'll put at the bottom because I have friends that did that sport, but like rowing's down there. I'm just going to say it. Rowing's down there. Just whoops. But like female hammer throwing, who cares? Right?
I care.
Yeah.
So as Gina cares, but like Kelly cares.
I care.
Dana cares. Everyone cares about female hammer throwers.
Yeah.
But like, as a person who like most likely wouldn't have gotten an NIL deal except for like calling like, you know, dad's rich friends, I love NIL. I love the fact that athletes can make money and people like Gina aren't living off like $300 to eat after her stipend was done.
Oh man, having to use my budget my card that we were given a card that was a certain amount of money that you could eat on campus, and it was like if you at the end of the semester and you'd already used all your money, you're like, well, crap, guess I'm not eating.
Can't eat the month of April, like kind of thing.
Yeah,
Gotta save your swipes.
I know.
We'd swipe people in.
Yeah,
But like that's the thing is like I love NIL. This is what I don't like about NIL. There's no loyalty. You can sign a marketing contract with an agent, with a marketing rep, an agency, a talent agency, whatever it might be. But by no means, depending on the contract, I mean, there might be some crazy contracts out there. By no means do you have to sign with that agent, agency's marketing rep, or talent agency when you become a pro. So the loyalty and the question thereof is why I will not jump into the NIL space, because I owe that marketing power, that client maintenance, those opportunities to my athletes that are in the NFL right now. It's a whole different world in that NIL landscape. So that's why it's like, for me, my resources are better put towards my guys who are out there in the NFL and what I can do for them rather than people that I may or may not work with in the future.
the NIL stuff, I'm all for it too. Like, I think it's great that athletes are able to make a
You would have
living.
cashed in.
But also, like,
I'd have been using your swipes.
True. Yeah. But I find that I hate that so much of it is about like social media, because I think that's like a whole different mental side of it that is, I think, hard.
Yeah,
for
like
younger
promoting
age.
wine bottles is not going to get you paid and it's not going to pay the bills.
I will promote any wine bottle, any wine company. I will promote your bottles. I will try all of them.
But you know, like social media is such a necessary evil, and I just feel like, you know, you see some of these athletes that have great deals who maybe aren't competing, but they've marketed themselves well, and they have 2 million followers on TikTok, and it's just like, I don't know. There
has to be a better way, right? Like,
Right.
I would love to see like local commercials start tapping into athletes. Like, how cool would it be, like in LA, Southern California, if you saw a like local Dodge, Chevy, Honda commercial and it like had Caleb Williams? Like, oh, cool. Like Bellflower Chevrolet, like that's Caleb. Like, that's our quarterback. Like, yay. Like, it'd be kind of cool where you can relate. Like, not everybody like still watches local television. Not everybody's like, you know, half the people are cable cutters now. I'm not. But like, you know, it'd be kind of cool if we can tap into something other than social. I think social gets really dry. I have NFL athletes that I work with right now, and they're like, I don't care what it is. Like, I will not do it if I have to do a social media post.
Yeah.
Because that's just not who they are.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, okay, if it's a clothing brand, I want to do a fashion shoot, because like they want to make sure that what they put on social media reflects who they are. Like, I have clients that say, if I want it for free, but if I have to post like, thank you so much Body Armor, or thank you so much Adidas, whoever it is, thank you so much Whole Foods for my package, they're like, that's just not how I am and who I am. And so they understand that it comes across like a little bit inauthentic.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're not willing to do it. Like they love these brands. They love Buddy Armor. They love Adidas. They love Whole Foods. But they're just like, that's my followers and my friends know that that's not me.
Yeah.
Like they just know that that's not. So I just feel like there has to be a better way than, hey, here's 5 cans of XYZ, throw up a social media post.
Yeah.
Like I hope we develop a better way in the future.
Totally. I agree. And I think that I'm sure that you give advice to the players and athletes that you work with is you want to live or you want to work with brands that like fit in alignment with your values and who you are, like you just said. And, you know, it's like, I'm not going to work with a brand that's, you know, like a sugary energy drink because, you know, I'm a pretty healthy individual. So
Would
like,
you work with a pizza company?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, she better. Pull some crazy stuff on me, G. Get
I
that
would do
pizza sponsorship. Kashi, where are you?
Yeah, well, that's really cool. I like hearing your take on it because I feel like I share similar views on it. But I think also like I wanted to get into the side of your career with Keyshawn Johnson because I know that Key was a pivotal part in. Well, I don't really know the story about how you guys got connected and then what you guys did exactly. Obviously, I know you helped him start an agency and stuff, but I would love to hear more about your working with him.
Yeah, so in 2015, I was working single-handedly with a marketing guy who was out of Long Beach. And he got approached by Keyshawn and had brought us all to a meeting with a guy named Jerome Stanley and Chris Ellison, who I still work for today. Brought us into a meeting and they're like, we're launching a sports agency. You know, Keyshawn's not an agent himself, so he's like, hey, I'm putting the money in it, but I need the right people in place. So at the time, I had just left Twitter. I'd worked for Twitter Sports for about 2 years straight out of college after I had left Athletes First, and I loved it. It was the best. Working for a tech company in 2013, 14, and 15 was nuts. But I ended up kind of leaving that job and going to kind of start my own thing. And that's when I got approached. So we had the meetings and we put the right pieces in place. I was in charge of handling kind of everything off the field. So whether that's client maintenance, whether that's support, whether that's marketing, whether that's travel, whether it's, you know, supporting agents, helping build, you know, presentations, whatever it might be, we all kind of formed that together and launched it. So our first draft class was in 2016. So we had a really, really good draft class that year. We had a first rounder, we had a second rounder, a third rounder. We had a lot of guys that went that year. So it was a great, great first start. And that's really how I started in the industry. Chris Ellison was one of the main agents there at the time. Well, we were all there at the time, but I still work for Chris to this day. So our wagons are attached. I've now become an agent because of Chris. Working with him day after day and just seeing the type of agent that he was to his guys, that like really encouraged me. Like I could also be that type of person, right? It's years of loyalty, it's years of trust, it's years of going through the ups and downs of an NFL career, whether you're drafted, whether you're not drafted, whether you get cut, whether you tear an ACL, whether you're a first rounder, watching how he's been able to, he's more than an agent, right? He's a father figure, he's a supporter, he's a friend. And that's where I was like, you know what, like if I can get certified, I can also be able to sit at the same tables that he is with these owners and explain to these owners and these, you know, GMs and everybody from these teams, like I have a guy for you and it's, you know, he's this on the field, but like, let me talk to you about what he is, you know, with beyond football. And so Chris was really the reason why I became an agent. And ever since, you know, like I said, I've been in this business for, what are we on, decade now? Yikes. So just under a decade of doing all this. So I love it, right? It's different. There's not very many people that look like me sitting across from GMs or owners that are negotiating contracts. I have not yet done that. I just signed my first client last month alongside Chris.
Congratulations.
So very, very
Yeah,
excited.
that's awesome.
Very, very excited. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to being in the room. I'm looking forward to working with scouts. I'm looking forward to having these conversations in a male-dominated industry that not many people look like me are sitting across the table having these conversations.
Yeah, what does that perspective look like from you being in a room where it's like majority are men? Are there what challenges?
I'm really used to it. Like
Yeah.
I growing up playing sports. Most of my friends, Gina can attest to SC, were like mostly guys. And I'm really used to like sitting in the room. What I'm not used to is having people in the room that don't necessarily want me in that room. Because for years, on the, contract or on the client side, on the marketing side, on the maintenance side, it's you're like big sister, right? You're sitting in the room and you're helping, and you're like, we're all commonly working towards the same goal. So when, someone else comes in the room, like an owner, that's like, oh, okay, she does the things off the field. Now that I can do those things on the field, I now become a threat, because now other men in the room that also have the same credentials that I do are now like, she could steal my clients. Like, she's authentic, she's loyal, she's this, she's young, she gets it, she's hardworking. Yeah, she can steal my clients. Yeah. Here's what I think, like, Jalen Hurts. I am a huge fan of Jalen Hurts because of the team that he has around him. The 5 main people on his team are all women, from PR to agent to marketing to real estate to everything. I love that, because it takes people like Jalen Hurts, someone who is a very, very predominant great player in the NFL, who is in the spotlight, who is in the Super Bowl. It takes a player like him to say, I'm going to go against the grain, watch me. And then he succeeds, and then everyone follows along. So like, that Jalen he knows that he's doing this, but like, he will never probably ask for the credit, but like, he is making a pathway and a road for all of us other women to work alongside these players in the same fashion that he is. And that's kind of what it takes, because right now it's a player here will have a female agent, a few players here, but like, it really is a different mindset, right? Because you got to think, like, the way that men talk shop with other guys about football is so different than how women sit around a table and talk football. We still have the same skill sets. Like, I weirdly enough can break down a defense because I play defense. Like, I know what base cover 2 is. I know what those things are. But like, us sitting around a table talking about football, we're not going to sit here and like talk about these 4 wide receivers. It's men get into like such intricate details. It's actually insanely insane how like, they'll sit there, they're like, oh yeah, they'll name like 5 wide receivers who have like a score of XYZ. And I'm like, where do you guys store that knowledge? Like, in your brain? Like, I can't remember that stuff. Like, just give me a spreadsheet. Like, give me a paper.
It's tunnel vision.
Yeah, literally. Don't take out the trash. Okay, we remember the 5 wide receivers and like all the catches that they made like in week 5. Weird things, right? But that's what it takes. It takes big named players in the NFL to say, I am going to put my hands in a circle that is ran by women and allow them to run my businesses, for everybody else to put their hands out and say, me too.
I wish we had more people like that.
Wow. I know.
Yeah. It's insane.
I guess for me, one question is like, kind of going back a little bit. You've been in the industry for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. When you first started out, how would you like pitch yourself? Like, what was your secret sauce? You walk into a room and how do you...
Well, I'm loud. So I naturally, like, everyone's looking like, who the...
You have a lot of confidence.
Yeah, you have to, right? Like, I walk in the room and I always tell my coach this to this day. I still talk to my college coach, Coach Dan, like, if I knew how to compete in college the same way that I walk into a room with a prospective client or in a group of men in a setting of, whether it's in tech, whether it's in sports, I would have been a 4-time NCAA champion. When I walk into a room, I know that I'm already going to garner attention because I'm loud. I'm kind of obnoxious. And so I already know that. So I'm like, okay, the tension's already going to be on you. What are you going to do with it? Right? So for me, it's just conveying who I am. I'm loyal. Like, I see things through. I'm very thorough. I'm very hardworking. I see things bigger picture. So like, we may be doing a social media post now about this shoe brand, but you go to Africa every year and it would be cool if they could sponsor and you can bring the shoes that you love. Like, so I'm thinking of bigger picture things. And so when I walk into a room, I just try to convey those things. Like, I am not here for your paycheck or the 3% that we get as agents. Like, I'm good. Like, that's obviously part of the business, but that's not why I'm sitting here having this conversation with you. It's these things, right? And so that's like, when I walk into a room, I know that, one, I'm going to be different because most people in the room are men. So I already have a different perspective. I have a different tone. I have a different attire. And I also have just a different mindset. And so for me, my mindset is not like, let's all compete and like fight against each other. My mindset is, this is what I can bring to the table and solve. And if that's something that you need, like, I'm right here. Mm-hmm. Like, based on what you already have on the table.
Yeah, you're thinking like two, three steps
Always.
ahead. Yeah. And you care about the well-being of the athlete, like,
of
well-rounded.
These are family members. I mean,
yeah.
My wedding's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be like, woo. It's gonna be. We might need to extend the venue a few hours, but no, like it's their family, right? Like their family, their families are family. I send their mom's flowers on their mom's birthdays. I know their sister's birthdays. I know their niece's names. Like, it's not just like, hey, this is my client. Have a good game. Goodbye. It's like, no, hey, you guys should see me around Valentine's Day. It's pretty prime time, Farren. Imagine having to contact about 15 guys and say, hey, need all your Valentine's Day plans and orders in the next 5 days, or you're gonna miss the boat. If you wonder, 99% of them call me on February 12th or 13th, and they miss the boat. But no, like I said, it's things like that, right? It's being thoughtful. It's like, I don't know how many male agents are out there and go, let me call my client and see if he needs help with his Valentine's Day orders. That's a female instinct, right?
Totally.
I do the same thing for Mother's Day. Do the same thing for Father's Day. I do the same thing around training camp. So it's like, it's those little things that, like, women, we just bring, like, I'm not saying we're different. Like, we're both, a male and a female agent, I both have the same certifications, but we just bring a little bit of a different mindset and touch that's a little bit more like, there's more attention and thought put into it, like on that side of things.
Where did you kind of learn to bring those core values into what you do? Did you learn that from Chris? Did you learn that
My
from
mom? Yeah, Toddy, man. Toddy is she's a gem. She's a craft enthusiast. She is a handwritten carder. Still to this day, she brought about 9 cards to Maui last month, and she's sending out St. Patrick's Day cards to her friends.
You can send out.
Oh yeah. And what occasion is it? Toddy has a card for that. So no, it's my mom. My mom's really, really thoughtful. She's big on the birthdays, big on celebrations. She'll celebrate holidays that you didn't even know existed. Yeah, like the last week I went to the house, and her theme this year for Easter, it was not like eggs or bunnies, it was carrots. It was a theme. You should have seen it. Might still be up. You might have to call her. Might still be up. You can go by and see it. But, like that, my mom's really thoughtful, so she'll send like little Starbucks cards and a lottery scratcher for a holiday where you're like, Memorial Day weekend. I'm like, okay, mom, like, where's the booze? Like, where's the beads? Like, but no, that's Toddy. That's like my mom. So I learned that a lot from her, and I see the way that she thinks outside the box and is really thoughtful around whether it's a holiday, whether it's a special event, whether it's a birthday or she's really big on anniversaries and work celebrations. And so I try to take a little bit of that into my professional work life as well.
Toddy's the best.
Gina's a mass recipient of many cards and scratchers and whatever else, candy.
I guess I kind of want to get into then about you signing your first athlete.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you've established yourself in this industry. You're working with athletes on a marketing side, and now you're officially representing an athlete. And so I guess I kind of want to hear about, I don't know if you can share who that person is, or kind of like how you guys developed that relationship. And then you mentioned to me a little bit about some of the dramas, potentially being a female, having signed him, and maybe someone being threatened. I don't know.
Yeah. So. Marte Mapu, All-American out of Sacramento State. So really excited. Obviously the relationship all stemmed between Chris Ellison and Marte. And I was brought in as an agent to kind of help supplement and be there and kind of help along the way as well. So we both co-represent him. Chris is the lead agent. So I'm really here to learn. I'm really here to help, and then do anything I can above and beyond, and kind of really just learn from Chris, and also take a step forward in my career as well. It's awesome, right? Like, I became an agent, and I think 6 months to the day, I think it was either the day or the day after, I signed my first client, which is rare. When you work at a bigger agency and you have the resources and you have the interns and 17 agents and recruiters, everywhere, just it's a lot different when you're working side by side with an agent or two. You don't have your blanket's a little bit smaller, right? You can't cast a big net or a big blanket over all the draftees that are coming out in the draft. So I'm just like honored to be a part of Marte's team. And I went through a situation last month, and I'm figuring out what I can say legally. Long story short, I'm going to be going to a new agency. I needed to find a place and go to an agency where I was respected and acknowledged for being a female agent. I was at a place where I was recognized as client services and support and marketing and kind of just like everything that you can imagine. But I wasn't acknowledged and supported and respected and acknowledged for that one thing that I had earned. And that was becoming an agent. And so it wasn't about money. It wasn't about, it was simply about recognition. Meaning like I tell people, you can be a lawyer and you can go work in sales or in business, or you can work in security, whatever you wanted to go work in. You're still a lawyer. Like no one can take that away from you. And so for me, I don't care what an agency wants to refer to me as. Here's Farren on our client service. Here's Farren on our marketing team. Here's Farren as this. But you cannot take away the fact that I am an agent. I have earned that. I have gone through the credentialing. I have passed the test. I have paid the insurance. I have paid my dues to the union, and I am an agent. Like I am certified. So I needed to leave from a place that was trying to put me in a box of something and not acknowledging me for what I actually also was. It wasn't that I'm not that anymore. I am that and this.
Yep.
So I had to leave. I had to go to a place that respected female agents, that respected people who have worked for a company and desired to move up and to be able to bring more to the table, to be able to offer more to clients. And I needed to be respected and acknowledged. And where I was at, I was not respected or acknowledged for that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Had to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Kudos to you for standing your ground and what you deserve.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was just all I needed was just a recognition.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for, redo my contract and my pay. I wasn't looking for that. I was just looking to be acknowledged the same way other male agents in the office were being acknowledged and being recognized once they passed. I didn't have, outside of Chris, I did not have one person reach out and even congratulate me after finding out that I passed. And they all saw it on Instagram. We all saw it. I had a photo shoot and everything. It was so cute.
Wait, I missed it.
Okay, so my post, this is this. I can be like
Walk us through.
I can be kind of cocky, right? Like
I love that.
It's confidence.
I can be like it's confidence, right? But like in
confidence.
the back of my head, I'm really cocky. But the way that I put it out in the world is very like delicate.
Yeah.
So we're in Barbados with our third roommate when we lived together. I'm in Barbados with Kimmy. Hey Kim. So we're in Barbados and I happen to bring my NFL PA hat because I brought like 3 or 4 hats and I was like, let me just change these out, match the outfit, bada bing, bada boom. So I told Kimmy, who's also a photographer on the side of her, she has 9 jobs too. And so love that for her. So I told her, I was like, yo, I'm gonna need you to take some pictures. She was like, of what? I was like, me in this hat. She's like, why? She's like, the hat's ugly. And I was like, no. She knew I was taking the test. I brought all my flashcards to the pool and everything every day. It was a chaos. So I was like, I need you to take these pictures with me in this hat because I'm gonna pass this test. I didn't even take it yet. It was May. I took the test in July. So this is like before I even took it. I said, I'm gonna need you to take pictures of me in this hat because I'm gonna pass this test. Like,
And it was a content opportunity.
very
Barbados.
yeah,
Yeah.
had to, right? Like, who else is like taking pictures on this beach? Yeah. There's
3 steps ahead.
yeah. Like I'm not like a fashionista, like whatever the opposite word of that is that to me.
Sure.
But I was like, what an opportunity to be different here. So I made her wake up at 7 a.m. We had to get like the right lighting and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I made her, she's gonna kill me for this. 7 a.m. I had to curl my hair, and then she had to help me and stuff. I had to fix it and stuff. And then we walked down to the beach. It was so humid that when we got down there, that thing just went flat. So all the work that she had to do at 7:30 was gone. So I had I had an outfit change. I brought like a little like satchel. I had an outfit change down there. And I was like, take these pictures. I'm gonna pass this test. So she took them.
She said, "Watch this."
Watch this.
We held those pictures in my album until September 10th. And I was like, told you.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's why it's like in the back of my head, that's the way that I think, but outwardly,
Oh,
like
that's
I would
awesome.
probably never share that story anywhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's call it May 28th. I was like, take these pictures.
We're doing it now.
So
Different
I
angles,
need
different
to hang out with you more so I can attract some of this
This energy.
Confidence.
Yeah,
It's hard to get a word in, but like, man, I'm loving everything that you are putting out there. I love it. I love your energy.
I love your disruption that you're doing within the NFL community and the agency world, which is what we're doing with the AVP and the beach volleyball world. And yeah, we're constantly getting overlooked, or there's competition, and there's a lot of people that feel threatened. But I'm here for it.
And we're not asking for a lot, right?
No.
We're really not. We're not asking for
Equal representation.
that's all we're asking for,
Yeah.
right? We're asking for equal pay. We're asking for equal representation.
Partnership.
We're just asking to be recognized.
Yep.
At the most part, like I said, I'm over here just asking for you to allow me to add a sentence underneath my signature, 4 words. But we're gonna separate, and I'm gonna go my own way because
Yeah.
you weren't willing to put 4 words in my email signature.
Yeah.
NFLPA certified contract advisor. Are we serious?
Yeah.
That's what we're willing to like give up like partnerships for? I'm out.
Mic drop. Let's go home.
I wanted to ask about what does the landscape look like right now with female to men agents, and then I feel like you're seeing more female reporters. The MLB just had a female first base coach.
Yeah.
So I don't know if any females are doing that coaching wise in the NFL,
yeah.
but yeah, I just want to hear more about what the landscape looks like right now from male to female ratio.
I would say right now the NFL is in probably the best place it's ever been in with female representation. Just meaning not the contract, just females being represented in all different facets. You have females executive on the Raiders. You have women coaches on the Commanders. You have female agents. I know there's 50 plus of us out there. We had a women of the NFL happy hour during the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, and there were 70 some people in the room. And it was women that were trainers, doctors, head team physicians, reporters. There was a girl that put it on. She was a reporter for the Bears, and there was agents like myself in there. It was everything. And it was so cool to see it because there's such a growing group of us. And like I said, I think that right now the NFL is probably in the best place that it's been in my opinion, and is only going to continue to go forward with putting females in places that, like I said, I give massive kudos to all the female referees and coaches. Mm-hmm. You are really, really out there on the green turf or field or grass, whatever you want to call it that day, by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at practice, I mean, there's probably tons of female interns and water girls and photographers and social media people that are on the sidelines and stuff. But like when you're a coach, you are literally in those huddles, and there's not another female on the field within the white lines. And that is such a cool position to be in. And like I said, I think it's only going to grow. I think more females being represented in high positions, management, GMs, ownership, is only going to help bring more females to all the other positions underneath and beyond.
What barriers have already been broken, or like, are there more barriers that still need to be broken down as well?
I think the barriers are broken, right? They're broken on the coach side. They're broken on the GM side. They're broken on the agent side. I think that we just have to continue to show value and continue to like be able to sit at the same table. So like, I don't think there's any, like, there's always going to be a new door, right? I don't know what that new door is. Like maybe it's field manager, like the people that like mow the grass, if that's like a dream job for any female out there. Like, like groundskeepers, right? Like there's someone there that has to make the fresh paint, make sure the end zone looks perfect. Maybe there's females on that job. I don't, us and lawn mowers, I'm not really sure that's like our thing. Like, but hey, like there might be a female out there that's like, I can paint. I can spray paint the heck out of an end zone. So like there's always going to be doors that you don't know about, but it's just like staying consistent, right? Like it's just continuing to be a force. And when you're in those rooms, like my biggest thing is like when you get an opportunity to be in these rooms, in the room, like I'm not just talking about women. You may be in a room in your life with people that do not look like you, did not come from the same background, are not from the same country, do not speak the same language, do not have the same background, credentials, schooling, whatever it might be. When you're in a room with those types of people, whatever those people might be, like be powerful, like go in that room with a purpose. Like don't sit in that room in a corner with a notebook being shy. Like you are put in that room and you walked into that room or got invited into that room for a reason. So go in there with a purpose and a plan. Like do not sit there silently. Speak up. You are in this room to speak up. I mentor a lot of young women that want to break into sports or that are having problems like going up in sports across the board. And my biggest thing for them is always, if you don't speak up when you're in the room, they're going to forget that you're in the room. So in order to continually be invited to that room, have a purpose in the room. Yeah. Like don't just go to the group meeting and like group projects, like don't go to the group meeting and like not have any feedback.
Get a participation medal.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like insert yourself in any way.
Insert yourself. Like make sure it is known, okay, these are all the people in the room today. Farren was in the room. This person was in the room. Gina was in the room. Kelly was in the room. Dana was in the room. Because a lot of women are going to walk out of that room and be forgotten that they were in the room. All these women that you see in the NFL, they're in the room because they spoke up, they said something of value, and they know their shit. And they continually keep breaking down those doors. It took one female coach, it took one female ref to go in there and say, I know how to coach football. She spoke up. She talked about her skills. She said why she got the job. If she would have just sat there and been like, oh yeah, would love to just be a part of the team like everybody. No, girl, that's not what we're doing today. Would love to be any part. Like, we're not taking free handouts here.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in the room, speak up.
That's such a good piece of advice. And I think that's applicable to not just in football, it's all areas of profession. And,
Right.
you know,
It's in your profession, right? It's an
Yeah.
AVP. It's just kind of like, it's the same world.
yeah.
We just want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be televised. We want to be shown on banners. We want to be marketed the same way. It's,
Yeah.
you got to show them.
Let's switch gears and talk about the athlete then. So the agents, and if you're in the room, you want to be heard. What about from the athlete's perspective? What advice do you have about them standing out and having their voices heard or making themselves marketable?
Yeah. I was going to ask that too.
My job is first and foremost to support my guys. So if there is a cause, if there is a situation that they feel very strongly about, whether it's social justice, whether it is police brutality, whether it is feeding the homeless, whether it is our world hunger issue, any issue that they feel strongly about, it is my job to hear them out. It is my job to understand where they're coming from, what they're passionate about, and why. Because if I can understand how they view a certain situation, maybe it's conservation of animal preservations around the world. I have a lot of guys that love animals and stuff. So maybe it's that, right? Maybe they're really passionate about making sure that we save the elephants and we save, the giraffes, whatever it might be. My job is to understand, okay, where'd you become passionate about this? How much do you know about this? Why? Have you been to Africa? Have you gone on safaris? Like, talk to me about your passion. So then I can then understand where they're coming from. Because at the end of the day, it's not my job to combat and to fight over nah, that's not a good cause. There's way better causes. No, your cause is your cause. So let me understand why and how you got to this place. And then my next question is always, what can I do to support, or what platform do you need me to help amplify? And then we kind of go from there. So for me, I will always speak up if I think something's off. Like if they say, I want to do a campaign anti-poachers. And I'm just okay, what is really your purpose though? If your purpose is preserving wildlife, we don't need to take the route of anti-poachers. Same thing, right? Preserving the wildlife means less poachers. But what we can do is we can just take the positive light and just go the save wildlife. Because at the same time we're giving this message out, we're kind of underlying saying the other message without coming out and sounding not sounding appropriate, if I will. We can just take the message that you want to say and we can just say it in a different light. So that's my job. My job is to make sure that no matter what they're trying to amplify, if they're trying to do a commercial, if they're trying to do social media, if they're trying to bring awareness, I first and foremost just want to understand. And then once I understand, I can help shape that story or that campaign or that narrative that you want to go about with based on kind of what I think would be the best route forward.
Yeah, so you just pivot. You pivot and change the
Yep.
narrative.
You change it. I'm a publicist at heart. I'm a spin doctor. That's all I do.
I love that.
That's literally my degree.
Yeah.
So my job is to literally make sure that we're saying what we need to say. If we need to say it bluntly, say it bluntly. But if there's a way that we can say the same thing about animals without being an anti, more like a support, I'll always pitch the other way.
Yeah, you wear a lot of hats.
Wear so many hats.
Yeah.
Including the NFLPA one that I made. Can you take a picture of me?
So you would advise that an athlete get behind something that they're trying to bring about positive change.
Yeah, or they're passionate about.
Yeah.
It could be anything. And I'll support anything.
Yeah.
It really just depends. Each guy's different. I have some guys that love working with children. I have some guys that refuse to go in hospitals. I have some guys that love bringing joy to communities through various community events. I have guys that love their money. They have bigger pockets and they can just donate money to all these different funds to where then they can just be the power of change, the engine behind these changes, and not necessarily making them on behalf of different companies. So each athlete that I represent and work for is like so different. And my job is just to understand what they're passionate about and how I can support. I have guys that are really, really getting into real estate right now. They're developing massive real estate portfolios that are going to change the outcome of their generational wealth. They're going to be creating generational wealth for their kids, and maybe their kids' kids. And so that's beyond football, right? So if my job is to say, hey, you're interested in real estate. I can't really speak that language to a massive degree, but I can connect you with 3 people that I really trust and admire in the industry of real estate that may be of help to you. So my job is always just trying to connect people. So it's like if I have a guy that goes, hey, I'm really, really passionate about saving the oceans. Great. Grew up by the beach my whole life. I'm not passionate about what those major missions are, but I know 3 massive foundations where you could maybe start and get some more information. So I'll feed those to him and they can go from there and we can kind of collaborate on what we think is the best route. So that's kind of my job. I want to just always be a connector. I may not have the answers. I may not have the ideas, but I can point you in the right direction of someone that's going to have those answers for you.
It's all about networking and who you know. And we had Ashley Dean on earlier in our season. Oh, you know who? Yeah. She's awesome. And she was just like, her biggest piece of advice was, see through with the connection, because you never know what that may lead to. And it's not like, I don't think it's an ingenuine thing. It's actually like, how can I help you? How can you, like it's a mutual respect matter. Yeah.
And like I said, I'm here to support. My job is not to steer propaganda one way or another, right? I'm just as a person who works for you, I'm here to support. Just let me know how we got here and what our purpose is and what your passion is about, so then I can understand too.
Yeah.
Do you have aspirations of representing athletes in other sports, or do you want to stay with NFL?
No.
Really? Okay.
You know what? I've thought about it. You know what it is? I don't know enough about the inner workings of other sports, basketball, baseball, AVP, freshman beach volleyball, whatever it might be. I don't know like the ins and outs. And when I say ins and outs, I'm not just talking about like who to call for a contract. I'm talking like, when's your off season? What do you do during the off season? Do you have summer league? Do you do you go overseas in the off season? I don't know like the normal workings of other seasons and how it all works for me to be a great person to step into a different sport and be like, oh, okay, football operates on this clock. Every year we have off season, we have Pro Bowl, we have Super Bowl, we have combine, we have draft, it just goes on and on and on and never stops. And like, I don't know all those like types of things in other leagues. So I would actually be doing those folks a disservice.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I could point them in the right direction though.
Yeah. Well, and I guess it sounds like the NFL, NFL is not, even though it's not year round, like you're busy all the time.
Busy.
But in your little like email to us, your Pisces ass has always got to be on vacay.
Always.
So talk about, like, I know that you are so good at work-life balance, and I think that that's very important, and a lot of people tend to overwork themselves. And we talked about it a little bit with Nicole Davis last week about like perseverance versus passion and
Enjoy.
And enjoying it. So I don't know, how have you
I'll say it. Walk us through your bougie ass day off, girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's one thing that I will tell people. Work harder. Like you can work as hard as you want, like, right? Like, but there's a point where working hard is going to like hit a wall, right? So then when you hit that wall, you then start working smarter. But you have to work harder and then you have to hit the wall first until you understand that in your professional career. Because you can't learn how to work smarter until you've crashed into that wall. So work hard, hit that wall and be like, all right, this wall sucks. And then you go, I'm going to figure out how to do what I just did in that 5 months, 2 years, 10 years, whatever distance it took you to hit that wall. And then you're going to figure out how to flip that. So for me, I work 10 times smarter than I do harder. Like everyone's like, oh my gosh, she works so hard, she works so hard. I honestly work on a good day, 10 to 11 hours. That's not a lot with how much stuff I have on my plate. There's a way that I have to go about. Like I said, I wear different hats during the day. I can be on a tech call. I can take that off. I can have a car dealership call. I take that off. Then I got to call the GM. I take that off. Like I wear so many hats, but in order like to get ahead, you got to learn how to prioritize what's important. And the one thing that I'll say, think about your coworkers. Like when you're sitting there at 8:45 at night, 10:45, 1 in the morning, think about your coworkers, your training partners, anybody. Are they up right now writing emails? If the answer is no, shut your email off. Shut it off. I never in college, and Gina can attest, Never in my life at USC did I pull an all-nighter. Was not worth it. I have to practice tomorrow. I have to show up. I have to go to work. I have to go there is no way that a test was going to make me get reamed a new one on the track at 2:00. No, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Was not worth it. So at like 2 a.m., it's over. If I know it, I know it. If I don't, I don't. Same thing at the end of the day. 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m., whatever way you guys run your life and how your business hours are, whenever you, at a certain point, if it's not done by now, it's not going to be done. Do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. So I'm really, really good with work-life balance. I also vacation really hard. Like, that's the thing. Well, I work really hard, so I got to vacation really hard. I'm a Pisces. I got to be in the water. I honestly, if you heard the places that I have zero interest in going, these are on like the top 10 bucket list places on people's list. No. I'll tell you one, unpopular opinion. Ready for it?
Yeah.
Maldives. It's on there. You want to know which one's not? Greece. Greece.
Greece has great beaches,
Santorini.
though. Come on.
No. Every picture you see from Santorini, every picture. Why is everybody like 3,000 feet above the water on a cliff?
Yeah, that's true.
I can't touch the water from there. Everyone's like, oh, look at the sunset. Where's the water?
Down below.
When was the last time you saw a picture of anybody that you knew or a friend of a friend go to Santorini? You saw them in the water.
That's true.
Never been.
That's
Yeah, true story.
What's your favorite,
Maldives? Yes. Santorini? No.
what's your favorite beach that you've been to then?
Ooh.
Like if you had to go there tomorrow, first class.
It's not a beach. It's Barbados.
Barbados?
Every beach in Barbados is ridiculous. Like I'd always wanted to go there, right? And then finally one year I was like, I'm just gonna go. Went last year, and I'm going back in 6 weeks. Taking the whole family this time. It was immaculate. You know what I mean? Like, and there's different places, right? Like my family, we're Hawaii snobs. We go there like 3 times a year. So for us, Hawaii is like people going to Palm Springs, or like people from Florida going to the Bahamas. It's like a 22-minute flight. Like, that is not the Hawaii flight. But we go there a lot, right? Like, we just like Hawaii. Like, Hawaii is kind of like our second, persona. So like those beaches, they're cool. They're nothing compared to the beaches that you get in the Southern Caribbean. Right next to Barbados is Aruba, in that same region. Stupid beaches. Stupid.
The Caribbean is pretty ridiculous.
It's right.
Yeah.
And as you get deeper, it gets like better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bahamas is great, beautiful sand, beautiful beaches. Like Anguilla, if you've never been to Anguilla, I'd say that's my favorite beach. That's one of my favorite beaches. It's just the main drag of beach in Anguilla. It's an island of like one street. It's like 2 miles long. All it is like private residence and like one hotel. The beach there is nuts. And so if people go, hey, you want to go to Rome tomorrow? No, I don't have clothes for that vacation. I don't have.
You have bikinis.
Yeah, like
everywhere else.
I really like. You gotta just take time for yourself, and that's the biggest thing I'll say, and I'll kind of like wrap up with this is. As women, right, we have this mindset of like, we gotta think hard, we gotta work smarter, we gotta work harder, we gotta outwork and outdo. It's like if you just learn how to move with the tide, and then just you slowly kind of navigate how to get in there, you don't have to work harder. If you can learn how to work smarter and then be more efficient and effective, you can come across the same with doing the same amount of work. This is not like in order to become this, I have to work 17 hours a day. Like that's no. If someone were interviewing with me for a position, they said, "Oh," and I'd say, we're not the right fit," because for me, I plan my days how I best work. So if my quiet time is in the evenings when everyone's signed off, I'll plan all the quiet things that I need to do in the evenings. All my phone calls will happen in the morning, so then at lunchtime I can go work out and do things like this podcast.
We appreciate you being here, Farren.
I love this.
Taking time, and
Yeah.
then Dana.
Yeah, so usually I end the podcast with this question, which is how do you take a bet on yourself, or how have you taken a bet on yourself?
I think I've taken a bet on myself every time I walk into a room and I'm trying to do something that's not popular, whether it's playing football, walking into those coaches' office saying, "Hey, I'm here to sign up," whether it is walking into the room to take the test virtually. I didn't walk anywhere. Virtually to take that NFLPA exam, whether it is walking onto a field for pro day last week, being the only female agent at Sacramento State's pro day. I bet on myself every time I walk into a room that I know that I'm going to flip the tide somehow. So for me, it's ongoing. It's never a one-time thing. It's every time. I will probably take a bet on myself within the next month on something else. But for me, it's like that's something that always continues. It's not a one-time thing. you got to keep taking those bets, because if, you may lose some here, you may win some, but like the law of probability will always state that it will always equal out. So the half those bets that you take are going to cash in.
Farren, I am so glad that I met you and I got to hear your story. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you ladies?
And we need to bring you on again.
I know, we do.
Did Gina probably had to do Gina? I'm surprised that she didn't like call me and do a disclaimer like, hey, like when you come on with my friends, like.
No, we wanted the full Farren.
Full Farren. You guys,
This is what we want.
you guys got full Farren.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
We appreciate
Back
you.
anytime.
And this is the Bet on Her podcast.
And cut.
Yeah.
Thank you.